To market on close, Okta will be in focus after the bell as it will report its earnings for the third quarter. Expectations are for adjusted EPS of 75 cents on revenue of $730 million. It's been a roller coaster year for Okta. It hit a 52-week high back in May. Shares have fallen 36% since then. Oppenheimer believes that it exited the quarter with steady demand and sees a positively biased risk reward as they head into earnings. Now it's time for Options Corner. Of course, our focus in advance of this report card is Okta. Rick Ducat, our lead market technician, joining us to take a closer look at the company. Now, Okta is in a space that has had a bit of a difficult time with earnings, not in that they were poor. The market reaction just has not been great in this space. So as we look at them against the sector and the markets, how is it stacking up?
Yes, good earnings, but declining prices can often confound newer traders here. And really, Okta in this whole cybersecurity sector, not doing as well as you might have thought. Okta underperforming not only the tech sector, which is at the outperformer, up almost 23%, S&P up about 13%. Meanwhile, Okta only squeezing out about a 1% gain. And really, some of these other companies here, Fortinet is one that is faring very poorly here. That's the weakest one of all here. But even Cloudflare and Zscaler had their own issues after earnings here. So not the most encouraging setup here. Really not any other specific news either, just kind of a shaky group right now. I guess we'll get a little bit more clarity once we do get these earnings, but the setup not seeming super favorable.
And as we look at analysts as we come into earnings, a lot of the time we do get some insight about expectations here. Do they seem to be bullish, bearish, neutral?
More bearish here. So what we had on December 1st, JP Morgan price target cut to 115 from 140. They kept their buy rating. But other agencies, Jefferies, Cantor Fitzgerald, Barclays, Mizuho, they all cut their price targets as well in the past couple of weeks here. So Cantor Fitzgerald was the worst of all, down a 30% cut to their price target, 290 from 130 here. They still kept their buy rating though. So the overall rankings mostly neutral to buy, but the price targets have taken a hit recently.
Expectations are lower coming in. Right now trading at 81.69. So those price targets are still higher, but we never want to see a reduction in the price target number. As we take a look at Okta on its own, though, and some of the technicals coming into the earnings event, I can already see the downward sloping channel here. But what's the setup look like? Yeah,
for sure. So what we have is a situation where we made our 52-week lows just recently, fresh set of low points here, 76.35, and that area between our intraday lows and our worst close, which was 78.32. That gives us our potential supportive zone to be on the lookout for. But if you were to backtrack a little further, 87 and 98 are the levels that stand out. First, 87, roughly these low areas here, 98, the high points here, and the consolidation phase here, as well as frequent stopping points for both price levels previously on this chart here. When we do look at our moving averages as well, we can see that we are overtaking our short-term 5-day EMA here, our weekly EMA, but we are so far stuck at our 21-day EMA. That comes in right around 83, just below that mark here. And really, even though momentum is starting to improve here, according to the RSI, we are out of the oversold area. Earnings could really change everything. It's a potential catalyst that could rewrite this whole story. So perhaps take that information with a grain of salt. Finally, when we look at our volume profile study, our volume nodes come in here and about right here as well, near about 80 and 85 or so roughly. And then we have our point of control, the heavy trading area, all the way up here near 91. So those could be some other areas of note.
And in terms of options activity, we do a lot of the time see increased activity, particularly for any of these names that are under pressure. Is that sort of the setup here for Okta as well as we come into their earnings?
Yes, our sizzle today is about 5, so 5 times the 5-day moving average of options volume here. Not the most actively traded name, though, about 55,000 contracts or so changing hands today, 57% calls. So what we have here for December 5th, about a 9.5% potential expected move here in our orange box. The highest open interest areas on the call side, 83 and 90 for this December 5th expiration. On the put side, 70 was the highest by far, 2,700 contracts of open interest there.
And as far as notable trades, was there anything of note?
Yeah, so as I said, not the biggest dollar amounts here, but there were some very outsized trades in the January 16th expiration series, the 115 and 120 puts. Someone bought a total of about $1.909 million worth of long puts there. So there's only about $15 million worth of trading in the whole market for Okta today. So a very big outsized group of trades. Some were spreads, some were not. They were all around the same time. Can't really say for sure if they were opening trades, but by far the biggest concentration of trading.
Well, Rick, thanks for being with us for Options Corner, for breaking that down in advance of Okta's earnings, which of course we will have for you right as the bell rings. There should come out at 4 o'clock Eastern.